managing your own money didn't mean relying on the big banks or governments. Imagine a financial system where you, the individual, had direct control. Sounds a bit sci-fi, maybe.
It does, a little. But that core idea, that peer-to-peer financial world, well, that's really at the heart of cryptocurrencies.
Spearheaded by the still mysterious Satoshi Nakamoto.
Right, and that anonymity itself is interesting, isn't it? Kind of signals this isn't your typical financial innovation.
Definitely not. So today we're doing a deep dive into cryptocurrency. We want to get a handle on its origins, what it fundamentally is, and why it's become such a huge topic everywhere.
Yeah, and we're basing this on a really insightful article that lays things out clearly.
Absolutely. Our mission here is to pull out the really essential stuff about crypto's rise for you. Cut through the noise,
Give you the key takeaways.
Exactly. A clear picture of what matters. Think of it as your guide to getting up to speed on this. And the beginning of it all, the genesis, is actually pretty fascinating. It takes us back to October 2008.
Oh yeah, a really crucial time. The global financial crisis was hitting hard.
Right. Faith in traditional banking was, well, shaken, to say the least.
And it was right in the middle of all that economic turmoil that Satoshi Nakamoto released the Bitcoin white paper.
Talk about timing. And it wasn't just some academic paper, was it?
No, not at all. It was a direct reaction, really, to the perceived failings of the existing financial system.
The article makes that clear. The main goal, the ambition, was to shift financial control back towards individuals, away from those centralized institutions.
Institutions that many felt had, kind of contributed to the mess in the first place.
So it was bigger than just new tech.
Yeah.
It was aiming for a fundamental power shift.
Precisely. And to really get a sense of how massive that potential shift felt, the article shares the story about a guy named Samer.
Ah, yes. The Samer story.
So back in 2010, he was facing his own money troubles after the crisis, got intrigued by this weird new Bitcoin thing.
And decided to invest, what was it, $100?
Just $100. A pretty small amount.
And now, well, this is the bit that grabs you. That $100 investment, apparently it ballooned into something like $3 billion.
$3 billion. It's staggering.
It really is. It's just a wild example of what can happen with early adoption of, truly disruptive tech. Makes you think, what did those early people see?
Exactly. And Samer's story, it's not just about getting lucky. It highlights that belief in a whole new way for individuals to manage wealth, a different kind of trust compared to banks.
A very different kind. Okay, so how is that even possible? We need to define what cryptocurrency actually is.
Right. So at its core, the article explains it's a digital asset, and it's built on something called blockchain technology.
Blockchain, yeah, we hear that word constantly. The source calls it a distributed immutable ledger.
Distributed and immutable. Keywords.
Now, we'll probably need a whole separate deep dive just on blockchain itself sometime.
Oh, for sure. It's complex.
But for now, the important thing is understanding it's the foundation. It provides the security, the transparency for crypto, like a shared digital record book everyone can see.
But nobody can secretly alter. That's a good way to put it.
Okay.
And because it's shared and unchangeable like that, it enables this key feature. Decentralization.
Meaning no central authority, no government, no central bank pulling the strings.
Exactly. That allows for direct peer-to-peer value transfer anywhere in the world. No traditional middlemen needed.
Think about sending money overseas. Usually involves banks, fees, waiting.
Right. Crypto aims to bypass all that. It's a different model for moving value.
So Bitcoin kicked things off. But the article says it didn't stop there.
No, definitely not. It points out how tons of other cryptocurrencies popped up afterwards. A really big milestone was Ethereum launching in 2015.
Ethereum, right? Vitalik Buterin. And it brought something new, didn't it? These smart contracts?
Yeah, smart contracts. That was a major innovation.
So what's the deal with those? How do they work?
They're basically self-executing agreements. The terms are written right into the code.
Okay.
So they automatically execute when certain conditions are met. Again, no need for a third party to enforce it, like a digital vending machine almost, or an automated escrow.
Ah, okay, so it executes if certain things happen.
Exactly. And that opened up way more possibilities than just using crypto as digital cash. All sorts of applications.
It's just wild how fast this whole space blew up. The article mentions over 1 million cryptocurrencies now.
Over 1 million, it's a huge number.
That seems unsustainable, or at least confusing.
Well, yeah, and that huge number comes with a big warning sign, which our source highlights. A lot of these are, frankly, scams. Or they're meme coins.
Meme coins,
Yeah,
like based on internet jokes.
Pretty much. They get hyped up, often on social media, maybe explode in price for a bit, but they might not have any actual purpose or underlying value.
Right. So you really have to be careful. It's not just easy money.
Absolutely not. Requires a lot of caution and research, which leads nicely into this contrast the article brings up using a Warren Buffett quote.
Ah, the Oracle of Omaha. What's the quote?
When it rains gold, put out the bucket, not the thimble.
Interesting. Even though Buffett himself is famously skeptical of crypto.
Right. But the quote itself really captures that feeling many have, that this is a huge, maybe once-in-a-lifetime financial opportunity.
Like, don't miss out on something big. Seize the moment.
Exactly. It speaks to that mindset. What do you think drives those totally opposite views? Is it just risk tolerance or something deeper about how they see value?
That's a really good question. Maybe how they define real assets. But the article doesn't let that enthusiasm hang there too long. It pivots straight to the risks.
Which is crucial. You need that balance.
Bruh.
And the article uses Bitcoin's own price history as a perfect, if painful, example of the volatility.
Yeah, that 2017 run-up was insane. From what, around $1,000 to nearly $20,000.
Almost $20,000. Just
Yeah.
incredible growth.
But then,
But then, the crash in 2018. Back down to around $3,000.
ouch. That kind of swing, it's massive. It really shows you this isn't like traditional investing.
Not at all. And you could argue that volatility is partly baked in, right? A consequence of being decentralized, driven more by sentiment than by, say, institutional anchors.
Yeah, that makes sense. Definitely not for someone who can't stomach big ups and downs.
For sure. Which brings us towards the conclusion from our source material. It frames cryptocurrency as this new, potentially disruptive force in the global economy.
It could genuinely challenge the established financial players, the big banks, maybe even government roles.
That potential is there. But, and this is the big but, jumping into this market without doing your homework, without really understanding it, that's incredibly risky.
Okay, so let's recap the main points from this deep dive. We saw how Bitcoin was born out of that 2008 crisis, really driven by this idea of decentralized finance.
Yep, we touched on the basics, digital currencies secured by that blockchain technology. We talked about Ethereum and smart contracts adding new layers of possibility.
And we definitely acknowledge the sheer scale of the crypto market now, but also the significant dangers, the scams, the meme coins, the volatility.
And we saw that potential for huge gains, like with Samer's story, right alongside those very real, very substantial risks. The article paints this picture of a new financial frontier.
Full of opportunity, but also, full of potential pitfall.
Exactly. Perilous, even.
Yeah, and for you listening, hopefully this has given you a solid base, a foundational understanding of what's going on in this complex, fast-moving space.
Yeah, the essential insights to help you make sense of it all should you decide to explore it more.
Right. Which leads us to one final thought, kind of building on where the article leaves off.
Okay.
What does it really mean if financial power genuinely starts to shift like this on a global scale?
That's a big question.
Yeah. What are the real-world implications, the good, the bad, the unexpected, of a world where decentralized currencies play a much bigger role? Something to really chew on.